Hey Dan, great question here with regards to updating systems. And you just wanted to double check if there are some guidelines and how we approach it. I'll share with you my ideas, and no doubt we'll get some other shares from those in the community. So, the first thing I wanted to mention is when you're getting started with building up a systems culture, you just want to make it as easy as possible. So, that's one of the reasons we don't try and overcomplicate things, adding certain review dates and things like that at the start, because it can end up becoming quite overwhelming. So it does depend where someone is in their journey when it comes to systemization. And I just say that because some of the advice that I'm going to share here might not apply to everyone. You just need to get past the point where you've reached minimum viable systems. Systems are touching all aspects of the business and all departments, and then you've started to build up a little bit of this systems culture. Now, as you kind of noted in here, my idea that anybody can update systems as you go, the big thing here is we want when someone comes across an issue with a system, you want them to either try and fix the system or at the very least add a comment for whoever the system owner is so that it can be addressed. Identifying and solving issues in the moment is by far and away the best way to go, because it creates this organic living document that just kind of evolves over time. Similarly, we touched on the idea in systemology in the last chapter around this idea of an issues list and capturing challenges and problems as they crop up in the business over the course of a month, and then you can review that list and then think about solving it from a systems perspective, as in thinking about where the system breaks down and then going to work on that. So with that in mind, when are some other times that you might review systems and how might we approach it? The next optimal time, I think, is when someone new comes on board. Anytime that you've got a new team member with fresh eyes that's looking at a task for the first time, you'll very quickly find out if steps are broken or missing or aren't quite right or things need to be updated. So that can be a really great time to kind of fix those as you go. Another way that you could approach this, and this probably speaks to what you were talking around here with regards to system updates and when someone might look at it, you could identify your most important systems and then create some sort of annual review process. Maybe that's the job of the department heads to oversee and make sure that it's flagged with the systems champion. Or maybe you have a systems day or a couple of days over the course of the year where you allocate a good portion of the day to really focus on reviewing and improving those most important systems. That said, though, my preference is still trying to fix those up as we go, because if we are doing a full review of all of the different systems, and depending on how your systems grow and how often things are getting used, and like identifying the systems issues as they pop up can be just a very effective way to do it. A lot of time and resources can be sucked down by creating this extra burden of maintenance of these systems. So something to think about there. As far as the way that you might do it, a couple of just little tips and things that we see in different accounts is when you do make significant updates, you can use the version control in systemHUB, which basically means you take a snapshot of the system where it is right now, and then you create the new version. You can also add updates in the overview section, adding the date when it was last significantly updated, and the team member that did it can also be helpful as well. But again, this is probably more as you start growing, which it sounds like you're probably already at that point where you've got a larger number of systems and you're thinking about how to maintain them. But with all of that said and done, probably my biggest question to ask is, what's happening for you to be asking these questions? Like, what are the issues that are surfacing? We don't want to just go to work and come up with this idea of system review for the sake of system review. I would be asking, is the challenge that the systems aren't being updated? Are you finding that they're getting broken and their team members aren't updating them, and that's causing issues when certain team members are going through it? I think that's probably the first thing that you want to surface here, which is what has got you thinking about this? Is there any problem attached to that? And then from there, it will make it easier for you to identify the best way forward and the solution. If you need to introduce annual reviews, if you need to maybe consider more training with the team members to get them fixing the systems as they go. Like, that's probably a deeper question there for you to answer. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Hopefully that helps you move forward.